Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am back in my garden. It is the second week of May. I thought I would give you an update on where my garden is at. The last time I showed you, it was the third week of April. So there have been a few changes. Anyway, this is what's going on. So here we are at the front of my garden, and I have planted some rainbow chard in here. Plus I've added some pine straw just to help mulch it. Obviously it's only working to some degree, but it does help to an extent, so I probably need to make it a little bit deeper. Anyway, this is where my garlic's at. Down here I've got some cucumbers growing. These are very small cucumbers, and I think I put some sunflowers down here. You know how that works. You say you're gonna keep track of something and then you don't. I've got some flowers blooming. I've also had more red ant problems that I'm dealing with. I've just been shoveling out their little mounds as they start them, and it's been a fight. It's been very frustrating as it is. They just keep coming back. That one, I think that's a dead mound. Anyway, these are still some onions. There's some little onions down there. They're doing okay. This wasn't their main spot anyway. And then in here, I had planted some cantaloupe, and it is not doing well. I don't know why. This is, I don't know. This is like the little plant for it. It's the same soil I'm using in my raised beds. Okay, so we've got some zucchini coming up over here. Got, what is that? 5 plants. And yellow squash coming up over here, doing great. And then this row is a mix of acorn squash and butternut squash. I think at the end, I honestly forgot what I planted here and there. I want to say it's probably watermelon or pumpkin. I'm really bad at keeping track. These beds are full. Last time you saw them, they were empty. We were getting ready to fill them and put our sweet potatoes in, but we did fill them. We don't have our sweet potatoes in yet. I decided I needed to try and get more slips from my potatoes, so that's what I'm waiting on. But the dirt is in there. Along this trellis, I planted some little tiny cucumbers and some flowers, zinnias, sunflowers, whatever. They never came up, so I have added more soil along here, and I replanted. So we're gonna see how that does. And same thing over here. I have planted flowers, well, sunflowers, watermelon down there, and then a pumpkin in here. And it was the same thing. I planted, nothing came up. So we'll see how it does. So we've got peppers doing okay and tomatoes doing okay. Started to trellis the bigger tomatoes. Same with over here. Started trellising they're indeterminate, and so they're gonna grow. They're gonna get really big. We won't always use these stakes, but this is what I had for now. And then I've still got some Roma tomatoes down here. And I do see a little basil leaf down there coming in. Over here, we've got a lot of flowers coming up, and nasturtiums. I'm trying to think, nasturtiums, zinnias, various things. This poor little tomato in the middle here was dying, and I was able to revive her, and she's got some new greenery, and she's doing great. More tomatoes, lots of tomatoes. Oh, and there's a couple peppers. I've got peppers here, peppers there, and peppers there. I think those are my sweet banana peppers. And over here, last time you were here, none of my beans had come up because I had just planted, and almost all of them came up. Anything that didn't, I have put in more seeds. So that's where they're at. Over here I've got more tomatoes, and they're all doing great. Got an echinacea there. Looks like I've got one little basil coming up down there as well, right there. Basil always takes forever for me. This bed is planted. It's an assortment of seeds. It's some flowers. I've got some okra in there. I've got cantaloupe in there. I think that's it. Oh, and not just cantaloupe, but another melon that's like cantaloupe. So that's what's in here. But I just planted this bed. We just filled these with dirt just a few days ago. And over here, I have planted more beans, and they are coming up. Plus, I think there's a cantaloupe in there on accident. But see, I do have some beans coming up right there, much faster than the other ones. It's staying nice and protected from our deer. I have really struggled trying to keep beans in my garden because the deer eat them the very second that they start coming in. And so this year, I finally, hopefully, am being smarter than those deer and covering them. Last year we had planned on it. Obviously my whole garden went to crap last year. Still got a few things, but nothing like what I had planned. And so this year I'm really trying to do the things that I didn't get to do last year. So anyway, and then we just have my onion bed over here, and it's doing fine. We have had some rain and some winds knocking things over, and we've been trying to battle that. So, but this is my garden. That's that direction. And then I'm realizing as I continue to fight the fire ants and the weeds that I had really wanted to do some partial in-ground beds. That had been really important to me when we first moved here, is that I didn't want to do, well, I originally didn't want to do any raised beds. I wanted it all in ground. I've done that in the past. It's worked out great. But due to all the things that we fight with, I think this will be the last year that I have any in-ground beds. I think we're just going to go to only raised beds and weed protective material, whatever, covering. Otherwise, I'm not going to get the crops that I really want. And it's okay. That's something that I've had to learn while being here, is that I have had to adjust a lot to what I really thought my garden would be. It's even not even the size that I had wanted. I wanted at least double this, and maybe someday. I forgot that I do have under a couple fruit trees, I've got some kind of squash growing. I'll show you. So I've got a little squash here. We had put some compost from our compost pile under our fruit trees, and this is just what was in there. And then also over here, we've got a couple more. Honestly, they are possibly gourds, because I had so many gourds that we had to compost. Anyway, that's it. That's my main garden tour. That's where it's at. I'm happy with the progress. We are still putting paths in. We haven't really started that yet. Well, I shouldn't say we haven't started that yet, because I have started laying down some of the weed cloth, but that should be in by the next time I do another garden tour, hopefully. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.